The eMTB world is changing fast. New people, fresh brands, different places, greater possibilities. These are exciting times. The north face of Curuvacas, Spain. A new eMTB system takes the stage. But does the eMTB world have a new GOAT motor? Wouldn't be doing things like this 12 years ago, 10 years ago even. I think on this 850 watts peak and 105 newton meters, that allows you to tackle these kind of places. Today we're exploring the possibilities of something quite special, something very new, very powerful. I love coming to places like this. Like, you can keep your bike parks. I mean, just look at that. Silence. The only other buggers up here are the goats. They ain't saying much either. What was distant is now near. What was slow is fast. And the impossible is now the normal. A jagged mountain. But can we get to Hell's Peak? MAHLE have recently launched the M40. This is their debut into mid-drives and already have some stunning partners on board. Its high torque, high peak power, light and compact design set to challenge the established big guns.
Coming from the automotive supply background, what we really want is that our customers succeed in business and that we do offer products which help our customers to sell more bikes and make the end consumer really happy about that.
We want that the customer look to us, the rider look to us and say, hey, there is a solution and a supplier for a really long term of years. OEMs could be able to find on us like a huge product portfolio.
You know, with MAHLE doing millions of e-motors, bringing that know-how from the various sides of the MAHLE group into the e-biking is really what's making us strong. And this is what you also see if you take a look on the KPIs of the M40. We need to see how we can bring the know-how we have and the industrial muscle we have into this market segment, because the product is just so amazing.
3 hours north of Madrid, on the side of a remote hillside, I contemplate the week ahead. The plan then was simple. Fly to Madrid, drive hard, avoid all distractions of tasty local food, of cake stops, the incredible Duero wine region, go to the factory, pick up a bike and drive to the north of Castile and Leon. Hide, contemplate and ride some bikes. And so the kingdom of the castles awaited and a plan to avoid all distractions. So we would arrive here, then drive to the HQ whilst avoiding this, and this. And having managed to locate the factory, meet a few key personalities. The boffin, the boss, the pathfinder, and of course, the system destroyer, who we will catch up with a little bit later and pick up one of these bikes, which has got the all-new MAHLE M40 at its heart. Now, the option at this point could have been so simple: a factory tour, maybe a mellow ride, a bit of wine tasting, a cruisy lunch, a bag of goodies, and catch the plane home. This is not that video. But I can tell you what it would look like, as I've got quite a bit of previous experience. The drive north had been stunning, remote, wild, silent. The road transitioning to dirt track, wilder still. But hey, it was still easy to find distractions. 3.5 hours north of Madrid, we've literally spent ages looking for food, and it proves it doesn't have to be complicated. And what we've got here is simple but absolutely brilliant. Jamon e queso. You've got a potato and cheese tortilla, and then there's this pork with crackling, which is simply off the charts. Ever deeper, higher, steeper. Soon ours a place to fully immerse the new M40 into difficult terrain. Wow, what a place, the Val de Pineda in the far north. We're surrounded by truly delicious rock and yet such an uncompromising place. I think this whole business about what we can now do on eMTBs is changing so fast. It's now up to us, the riders, to deliver. And one system leading the charge is the ultra-responsive M40 from MAHLE, which they say is designed to outperform. I just hope that I can keep up in those massive rocks. The MAHLE M40 is a new full-power mid-drive engineered to give riders instinctive, fully capable control in any terrain. But more than this, high efficiency even in demanding environments and even at high support levels and cadences. In other words, the ability to keep the ride fluid.
You go in lower cadence, this is where the torque supports you. I would say with our drive unit, I can climb sections which I was not able to climb before because of the, I would call it super control we have in lower cadence. And you can really maneuver the bike around. And then you go and see there's a root section in front of you. You just put 1, 2, 3 pedal strokes in. This is when then at one point the torque drops, right? But then the power takes over. And then the power lets you fly over the root section. And that's for me something where, you know, our rideability, and that's what I'm really excited to see how we go and ride tomorrow together, is how you see that. If you go in low cadence and you try really low cadence to maneuver, have 100 or maybe 1000% control over the bike, you know, going around stones, going around technical steps, making a switchback, it's like pretty fun.
With the 850 and 105, you are able to climb in each situations, to be able to climb the highest slopes, and also to maintain the energy to climb different and high altitudes.
I was nervously waiting to lean into Jochen's motor theory and Alberto's confidence of gradient. The challenge, pretty serious. Right, well, we're making ground. Now, the aim of today is not only to explore the possibilities of the M40, but to try to get to the summit of Hell's Peak, skirting the Needles of Cordano. Now, lots of time on the channel. We spend a lot of time rock climbing on granite. Recently, we were in the Dolomites, exploring a limestone area. But today, it's all about these immense rocks, these huge chunks of granodiorite. So not only do you need a strong motor in places like this, but also you need the coarse grain and the grip that a place like this affords. So let's talk now then about the M40 system. So we had grip, we had torque, and most importantly, power that was said to last.
Our system is really optimized in terms of thermal management and can maintain the full power during around 15 minutes. But it's a topic you will never reach it in normal conditions because we have amazing refrigerating capacity. That means as soon as you stop pedaling, the motor is decreasing the temperature and you will never achieve the critical point.
So we found ourselves on the north face of Curuvacas, 3 hours from Madrid and 6,000 feet above sea level. Now, this bike has actually been made by MAHLE to showcase their system. And let's not forget, it's not just about the M40 drive unit, it's the complete digital ecosystem. So by that, I mean the remote on the handlebar. It's 3 modes, which I'll come on to a bit later. Top tube display. Then in the down tube, there's an 800 watt-hour battery or the option to go 530. The lower capacity battery weighs in at 2.5 kilos, but it's all about the efficiency, which we'll give you the numbers of a bit later. And then, of course, the heart of the bike, which is the drive unit. 105 newton meters, 850 watts peak power, and weighing in at 2.5 kilos, which makes it the lightest, most compact full power unit on the market. It's actually about the same size as an SL motor. And then one key part to this system, which is the sensorics, the gold of the M40 system. These ultra precise speed sensors are capable of detecting speed changes within just 3 centimeters of movement. This significantly enhances system accuracy compared to other brands on the market.
Yeah, the development of the speed sensor was made internally. We use a magnet ring with 42 places, but with our special technique, we are doubling the measuring of the points, and we have a sensor that is able to recognize 84 pulses for each wheel. It's a unique feature of our system that allows us to have a precision, to have the perfect symbiosis between human and machine, and to be able to ride whatever you want.
The M40 then is very much a debut in terms of mid-drive motors for MAHLE e-bike systems. It's all about dedicated batteries, dedicated displays, and of course, dedicated digital services via the app. So a system that is both sensitive to rider input and will deliver full power throughout the ride. With things about to get tasty, it was the perfect time for the CEO to show up. Haha, Joachim, I've been waiting for this moment.
Nice to meet you here.
Back in the office, you talked about moving from torque to peak power.
Yes.
I thought I'd bring you to your doorstep and show you a beautiful piece of rock.
Yes.
Curuvacas Lake, and I'd say that's quite an intense climb.
Yes. And that's what we really love, you know. That's why what we do the bikes for. And you know, as I mentioned in the office with the torque we have, and especially when I said you need to go a bit on lower cadence, is on those rock faces when you want to go them up, it's like really get your seat down, log in on a nice cadence, and then let the bike do the rest.
Very soon the mountain changes. It is now above us rather than ahead. But my plan that we'd be in this attempt together soon took a change of direction. Whoa!
Oh, what a nice ride.
Amazing.
Thank you very much for coming over to the Montaña Valentina.
What do you mean? Where are you going?
Yes, gotta catch a plane.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Okay.
Work is waiting.
Okay.
So enjoy the mountains.
Well, yeah, I hope I don't run out of talent.
I'm pretty sure you won't.
Cool.
So pretty much enjoy.
Yeah.
And hasta luego.
Hasta luego. Charming. That's immense. Alone with the rock, I skirt the water's edge and jumping trout of Pozo Curuvacas. But where was Pablo with the lunch? 2/3 way up the mountain. Quick update on peak power and torque. I just don't think these kind of environments are possible with like 70, 80 newton meters with, 600 watts peak power. 12 years ago, 10 years ago, you wouldn't be accessing places like this. So as I mentioned earlier, things are changing, and I think the power allows you to just get over the steps and access different parts of the hill and keep the flow going. Well, here is Pablo, the Sherpa Pablo, who's daft enough to come with us up here, along with Tom behind the camera. This ain't Premier League. Okay, so our colleague behind the camera here spends most of his time in Old Trafford. And here we have Pablo, the legend, who's just been down to get us some supplies. That looks tasty.
I hope so.
What's this called?
Empanada.
Tom, empanada?
Bueno.
I just want to give you a quick look at the rock in front of us. It literally is a wall of rock. Amazing.
5 minutes.
I swear, the food tastes better after waiting and being in the mountains. Tom?
Casual 3 p.m. lunch.
Ah yes, MAHLE. I was going to give you some history. It's actually one of the world's biggest suppliers to the automotive industry, with over 70,000 employees worldwide, with the HQ in Stuttgart, Germany. But it's here in Palencia, Spain, where the e-bike division is, where there's over 100 engineers and boffins working on e-bike technology. MAHLE have been in the e-bike business a long time. They've been focusing on hub drives for a while, and we came and rode here a few years ago. You might have ridden a MAHLE on the Specialized Levo SL, but this is their debut when it comes to mid-drives, and now the badge prominent on the side casing, which we'll explore later.
MAHLE is a 100 years old company based in Stuttgart. Stuttgart is the city of the car. 10 years ago, we started this project. 1 year later, more or less, it was started like close in parallel. MAHLE was starting activities in e-bike systems. And then we decided to join efforts because of our experience in HMI and digital, which is an important point as well.
And I mean, for MAHLE, we have everything set up, no? Being one of the biggest automotive suppliers in Europe, or in the range of the biggest automotive suppliers in the world, having electronics in-house, having electric motor know-how, it was just a logical consequence of seeing how the market evolves and how that goes in.
From the very beginning, when we found the project, we realized that we need to be different. And it's really nice that we are arrived to this point today from especially the road bikes, no? And from road to mountain bike, I mean, it's different, but it is a huge connection, no? Because always we have been looking for the essence of the bike. Pick up the bike, say, oh, it's light, it's good, it's perfect. And in the mountain bike, we are doing exactly the same. There's a lot of, let me say, digital features that all of them are in the background, but they are there to make to you the life easier. This is thanks to this digitalization, to this labor that we are doing there. So then for me, is this singularity, and this is important. So what the people can be able to find in systems like the M40, it's something substantially different.
But how was the business of distractions going?
Oh, crikey. The plan not to get distracted. I have failed miserably.
Having spent time discussing power and complexity, it was now time to get a taste of something entirely different. Ahead of us, a wall of rock. Take it slow.
Whoa! Just made that one. Okay, so you're going to work this puzzle out as you're riding it. It ain't easy. Oh, crikey. Whoa! That'll look good on drone. Okay, pull that out. Okay, folks. So thinking of doing this climb. So what I'm doing now is I'm making a general plan of where we're going to go. Obviously looking for the angle of least resistance and then linking sections together. Probably won't do it in one go, but what I'm going to try to do is keep the flow going so that I'm not pushing the bike. I want to actually ride this chunk of rock in one go. Into the approach. So at this point you can get some kind of idea of the scale of the rock in front of you. Whoa. Yeah, it is a pretty big chunk. So I need to find a way in. Find a way into it, okay? Nearly got it. Okay, stage one. So now I'm gonna look for a way up through here. You give myself a wide line so I can drive again. So, okay, stage one. Now having a look around. Reckon I can go down that way come back in. Okay folks, this is where the hill hold feature is absolutely essential. Starting off again, this is so sketchy. So you've heard it a million times, trying to conserve my energy here, because you've got to break a slope or you're going to accelerate, and then there's a ditch, which is make or break. Oh. Okay, so relax again because there's another break a slope again. Give us that through those rocks. I've done it. Oh boy. Oh. Let's get in here. Let's get in here and have a breather. Yes. Cracks.
We are adapting our system to the user and not the users to the system. That means if you are pedaling slower, you get still the power and the torque. And if you get in higher cadence, you will also get the power. But we try to maintain the natural feeling for the user so that he feels that it's still a bike and it's not like a motorcycle.
Whoa. Bit of rock chat while waiting for the boys to come up. We're on the north face of this mountain, and it's actually part of the reason that you're able to do this rock climbing on e-bike, because it was once a glacier in this area here, and of course when the glacier kind of melted and retreated, it's scraping its way down the hill, and I'm guessing it's smoothing the rocks out. Whereas on different slopes, different angle slopes where the rock cracks and breaks and forms scree, obviously you're not able to do that. So, you know, this is prime e-bike territory, and it's only really possible through glaciers. I mean, it's really sad that the glacier has just disappeared in a short space of time, but it's left the surface super smooth. Hey, I thought I'd just rattle on there while the crew are coming up. With a tough task ahead, the only way would be to slow down.
When the rider is pedaling in low cadence, the system is able to recognize it and to adapt the motor power delivery to allow him to still pedal in low cadence, or to climb with precision in technical situations, in technical trails, and to climb that in the right way.
Okay, fatigue levels are kicking in now. Well, especially some in the wrong frickin' gear. One idiot. The rock was relentless. This was no place for a weak system as I drained the battery. Oh, this doesn't look very nice. This does not look very nice.
Our battery development department makes an amazing job, and they create a model, an electric model for the battery that allows them to calculate the state of power. That means how many power they can deliver anytime. And with that model, they can assure the delivery of the full power till 5% shock.
Okay. Topping out. How cool is that? Very much a story of progress and innovation. You know, doing things on a mountain bike which I've never done before as I've got older. I think it's just such a great feeling. I got my breath back while Tom packed up the gear, but the MAHLE battery still had some juice and I wasn't ready to go back down just yet. Okay, I can't resist it. We topped out. Tom's shouting at me. I'm just going to ignore him. Yeah, he said, okay, I'm going to just go to this. I mean, it's like a BMX park. Whoa. Tom's not talking to me now, look. Crossing me because I didn't listen to him. There you go, look, watch the face. Watch the face. It's really quite lumpy in here. Way more challenging. Ah. Sorry. Ah. 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 Let's knee down. Sit. Sit. Right then, let's have a drop of descending, shall we? Whoa! Which way are we going to go? Down through the grass. Sketchy. So we returned to sea level. That was certainly some stunning yet very punishing rocks in the north, and thanks so much to Javi at Vidrieros for some superb hospitality. Food there was off the chart. So we'll turn our attention now to the M40 system and why some of the detail is so important. Right, okay, well, I'll explain that a little bit later. So what we have here is the sensor, which is a super important part of the system. Where have we got it here? In here somewhere, there you go. So that gives it's 42 times 2, 84 points of pickup there on the speed sensor on the rear wheel. Here's the motor. We've talked about the motor. Like I said, it is super compact. It's one of the most powerful and yet smallest, lightest motors on the market. And like I said, there's two battery options. We've got the 535 and also the 800. What else is in the box? The display, which I'll come on to in a minute, and the Trio remote. Actually, what I haven't mentioned is the fact that the M40's got 3 support levels, 1, 2, and 3. Very simple. 100, 200, and 400% support. So you put in 100 watts, it gives you back 400. Now, one of the things which was quite interesting whilst I was up on the hill, not only the sensitivity which that speed sensor allows for, but also just how you can crawl the M40 up those rock faces. And I think it's definitely a system where you can run low cadences. Yes, there is a wide range, but I think it's the low cadence which is quite unique to MAHLE. So going back to the rock, I think there's a few things which are related to that. I've talked about the fact that you can get more power for longer with the design of the battery on the M40. But also, if you're rock climbing super steep terrain, you need the motor to keep giving you power. So it's interesting to see how long the M40 gives you that power for, because if you're doing an extended climb, you could be doing 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 meters. You need to have the motor keeping you supported, because that keeps the flow as you're going up the hill.
It's no accident that the M40 is able to give the rider such an intuitive, natural ride feel, even in the most extreme landscapes.
MAHLE does millions of e-machines. So this knowledge, this background, being on the forefront of innovations allows us to adapt super fast to our processes, allows us here to act as a speedboat, I would say, in a very fast manner, but then still allowing the right amount of processes to ensure that a quality product comes to the market.
Here you can see the huge amount of motors which are either into investigation or being tested. I want to turn your attention now to this part of the room. We've got Manu here who's documenting the whole process. This is an M40 which has been through an extreme stress test of peak power, torque and assistance. Now, this has been through tens of thousands of kilometers, tested to destruction, and then when they do find that weakness, it's Manu who documents it right here.
Testing our systems with really hard conditions, I would say. So their requirements are sometimes a bit too harsh, and then we try to figure out why is it too harsh. So basically, we are demanding a lot of stress into the drive units, how the gear set is working, how the e-machine is demanding the power, how we drain out the battery, and until which point we are able to have a stable system in the end.
I love this part of the job, looking around these test rooms to see what they've got. Ah, there you go. This has got to be an early M40 prototype. You can see it's got a bolt-on case in there. Wow, beautiful, right?
We are pushing up to 350 Newton meters rider torque input just to ensure that this is something which is going to last. And of course, we are applying this kind of forces 10,000 times on one freewheel. So, and we are testing up to 400 drive units in our facilities here. So.
Huge team of really skilled engineers at MAHLE here in Palencia. Turning to the battery side of the business, I think having a look at the bike, it demonstrates the shape of the whole system and how compact it is. Now, the great thing about the 800 and 530 batteries from MAHLE is that they're actually shorter, which means the weight is distributed a lot further down into the frame, which adds to the stability and the cornering performance of an eMTB. Now, this whole business of range and efficiency, as riders, we want to have more ride time, and you only get more ride time by having an efficient system. The second thing is that range. Now, range is such a can of worms because it actually depends on how the battery discharges. So with an eMTB, I believe you actually need the power most towards the end of the ride when you're actually more tired. But actually, with lots of systems, you're getting less and less power throughout the ride. So I think that's definitely a strength of the M40. You're getting more power for longer. Okay, want to know about the bike? Okay then, right. This is actually Mahle's own frame, right? 160mm travel. I didn't tell MAHLE this, but they could probably sell this as a complete package, you know, the e-bike system and the frame, because I think it's a really good performing bike uphill and downhill. Right, what are the signature features of the system? Overrun, not talking about overrun. So obviously all these things are adjustable via the app, but when I rode the bike, I actually had not too much overrun, because I think with some bikes that overrun, it can get away from you, and especially when you've got tight uphill corners, you just don't want that overrun. So whereas some bikes are like wild ponies, this can be a wild pony, but I think it's really controllable as it is. Hill start, really key feature. Now, if you stall on a hill, and for example, when I was on those rocks the other day, we're actually on a cliff edge, so if you keep pressure on the pedal, you can actually go again. So I think that's a really good feature. If you would ask me what the feeling of the bike is like, the acceleration is good. It is super responsive. So when you've got steppy ground, and there's loads of examples of this up in the north, you come around a corner, you've got a step there, you just go and it goes. You don't have, there's no delay. Control, traction, obviously that's part of the whole bike system, which, as I mentioned, I think it's a good bike in terms of the geometry and the suspension kinematic on it. The tyre choice obviously is super important. But one thing actually, which was interesting, was that there was one section of the hill, I was in the wrong gear. I was probably like 2-3 gears too high, but the bike supported me. So I think the fact that you can ride this bike in the wrong gear is really great when it comes to maintaining flow up a climb. So overall, really impressive package. And I said, I reckon they could sell that complete bike.
But for MAHLE, the intention has always been for their partner brands to be the hero.
We don't do bikes, right? It's the OEM, the bike brand. We allow the OEM to customize the motor performance, to customize the rideability, which then makes it the brand's DNA on the rideability and not having every bike riding the same, but having you as a brand already defining certain boundaries where then at the end consumer can play with the application within. So we can do it with you on the trails as well, setting up your Steve Jones mode basically.
Sadly, it's time to leave this beautiful place, but before I do, I'll give you an example of the low cadence sensitivity, which allows you to do these climbs. Wow, what a bike, what a system. And as Jochen mentioned, it's the fact that the strategy behind MAHLE is that the bike is the hero and not the system.
So what about the bikes? There's a few. Italian brand in Padua called Sons. Then there's a fantastic steel eMTB from Abams in northern Spain. And one stunner is the Labyrinth bike, which I'm sure you'll see more of in the future.
That's it from Castile and Leon. Did I get distracted? Did we get distracted? Oh yes, very much so. But then again, that's part of the adventure, right?